NHL players by the decade, Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros was one of the best players in the 1990s. During his time with the Philadelphia Flyers, he was one of the league's premier players. He was the best power forward in the game, averaging over a point a game. However, because of his hard-nosed play style, his career would be cut short with concussions. Lindros was selected first overall by the Quebec Nordiques in the 1991 NHL entry draft. Despite Lindros stating in advance he would never play for the Nordiques, after many months of trade negotiation, Lindros was traded at the 1992 NHL draft. Lindros was traded to the Philadelphia Flyers for Steve Duchesne, Ron Hextall, Kerry Huffman, Mike Ritchie, the rights to Peter Forsberg, a first-round pick in 1992, a first-round pick in 1993, and $15 million in cash. The Nordiques originally agreed to trade Lindros to the Rangers. However, on June 30th, 1992, an arbitrator ruled in favor of the Flyers. Lindros established himself as the top player on a Flyers team that had been perennial contenders. During his time with Philly, Lindros was one of the most feared and dominating players in the NHL. In September 1994, he became the captain of the Philadelphia Flyers. Along with John LeClaire and Michael Renberg, he played on the dreaded Legion of Doom line. He scored over 40 goals in each of his first two seasons and won the Hart Memorial Trophy as MVP in the 1995 season. Lindros led the Flyers to the 1997 Stanley Cup Finals. However, the Flyers were swept in the finals by the Detroit Red Wings. Lindros suffered a concussion on a Scott Stevens hit in Game 6 of the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals against the New Jersey Devils. After this hit, Lindros was never the same player. On August 20th, 2001, Lindros was traded to the New York Rangers. His first season with the Rangers was great. He tallied 37 goals and 73 points in 72 games. In 03-04, Lindros suffered his 8th concussion. Because of this, he only played in 39 games that season. Lindros spent the next 2 seasons playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Dallas Stars, but it was evident that Lindros didn't have it anymore. Although Lindros' career was cut short, he is still in the Hall of Fame. Here are some of his career accomplishments. He is the 4th fastest player to score 300 points. He did this in only 210 games. He is the 4th fastest player to score 400 points. He did this in only 277 games. He is the 5th fastest player to score 500 points. He did this in only 352 games. Lindros is the 6th fastest player to score 600 points. He did this in only 429 games. Lindros totaled 370 goals and 865 points in 760 games. Eric Lindros was one of the toughest players to defend against in his prime. Without a doubt, Lindros was one of the best players in the 90s. This is why he is a player who represents the decade. Next on NHL Players by the Decade, Martin Brodeur.